Hello, welcome. Again, we are covering the subject compressible fluid flow for civil services mains, IFS, and GATE aerospace exam. The next topic in the chapter of oblique shock and expansion wave is oblique shock relation. So we have studied the concept of or the introduction of oblique shock wave. Now we'll use that by considering a flow having Mach number m1, velocity v1, okay, and it comes across a shock wave. So that is your shock wave, which makes an angle beta, which is called shock wave angle, with the direction of flow of or direction of velocity. Okay. So now after the shock wave or behind the shock wave, the flow properties or the flow Mach number changes suddenly. It becomes m2, velocity becomes v2, and the flow is deflected by an angle theta. Okay. So now initial velocity is v1, initial Mach number is m1, and after shock or behind the shock, the Mach number is m2, velocity is v2. This is your shock wave angle, and this is the deflection angle. So now this velocity can be resolved into two components. One is along the shock wave, and other is perpendicular to the shock wave. So before shock, the perpendicular component is u1, and tangential component is w1. And after shock wave, the perpendicular component is u2, and tangential component is w2. Okay. So this is the geometry of the velocity. Okay. Now I will read out uh, for this part. First point is the geometry of flow through an oblique shock is given in the figure. The velocity of sweep of the shock is v1 and is horizontal. The corresponding Mach number is m1. The oblique shock makes a wave angle beta with respect to v1. Behind the shock, the flow is deflected towards the shock by flow deflection angle theta. Next point, the velocity and Mach number behind the shock are v2 and m2. The component of v1 perpendicular and parallel respectively to shocks are u1 and w1. The analogous components of v2 and u2 are u2 and w2 as shown in figure. Therefore, we can consider a normal and tangential Mach number ahead of shock. So this is uh, normal to the shock. Mach number is mn1, and this is along the shock mt1, mn1 and mt1 respectively. Similarly, we have mn2 and mt2 behind the shock. So likewise, velocity, this Mach number can also be resolved into two components. Here, this is the perpendicular component is mn1, initial component is mt1 before shock, and after shock it is mn2 and mt2 respectively for normal and tangential component. Okay. Now we will study this part. Suppose we have a control volume in which A and D are parallel to the shock wave, and B, F, C, E are perpendicular to the shock wave. Okay. So here if we consider uh, for continuity equation, then for the continuity equation is across shock wave. So we will take perpendicular component, that is u1, because this is parallel to shock wave, and perpendicular component to the shock wave is before shock is u1, and here also the perpendicular component after shock is u2, and all other component will not contribute to flow across the shock wave. So the continuity equation will remain same. Rho 1 u1 is equal to rho 2 u2. So here u1 will enter and u2 will leave, and all other flow will be along the shock wave. So I will read this also. Consider the control volume drawn between two streamlines through an oblique shock as shown by dashed line at the top of figure. faces A and B, this is A and this is B, are parallel to the shock wave. The faces B, C, E and F of the control volume are parallel to F, B, C and E are parallel to velocity or velocity u, or we can say perpendicular to shock wave. Hence the continuity equation for an oblique shock wave is rho 1 u1 is equal to rho 2 u2. So these are parallel components. So these faces will not contribute to the continuity equation. So only these perpendicular to this shock wave will contribute to the continuity equation. So this is equation number 1. Now consider momentum equation. So momentum equation will have two components. One is along the shock wave and other is perpendicular to the shock wave. First we will consider along the shock wave. So for the same mass, that is rho 1 u1a or rho 2 u2a, so it is same. We will consider the momentum equation along the shock wave. So if we consider this figure here and take this part, then at A the tangential component of pressure is 0. So we are considering this point, and at F and at B the pressure is same because it is before shock. And if we consider this figure, then at D tangential component of pressure is 0, and at E and at C the pressure is same. So it means the change in pressure along the shock wave is 0. Okay. But if we take final velocity as W2, so then the momentum is final momentum is rho 2 u2 W2 into A. A is for A is 0, and initial momentum is minus rho 1 u1 into W1. So that is change in momentum, and that should be equal to negative of pressure change, and there is no pressure change in this, so this will be equal to 0. And from continuity equation we have rho 1 u1 is equal to rho 2 u2. So this tangential component of the flow along the shock remains same before and after the shock. So W1 is equal to W2. So there is no change in tangential component. So I am reading this part. Momentum equation can be resolved into two components, parallel and perpendicular to the shock wave, considering steady flow with no body forces. The tangential component applied to the control surface in figure yields, noting that the tangential component PTS is 0 on faces A and D. So on these faces A and D, tangential component is 0 because there is no tangential pressure. Nothing like tangential pressure. Pressure is always perpendicular. That the components of B cancel on those ends. If you consider this part, the pressure here and here are same, so they will cancel out. Okay. Similarly on faces C and E. So this will be the equation, and tangential means tangential component will remain same. Okay. So now if we take perpendicular component, now this is your initial momentum rho 2 u2 and u2, and this is your final momentum, and across shock wave there is change in pressure. Final pressure is P2 and initial pressure is P1. So that is your change in pressure, and that change in momentum is negative of change in pressure. That is change in momentum per unit area, or we can say from our basic we know that the momentum equation is P1 plus rho 1 u1 square is equal to P2 plus rho 2 u2 square. Okay. So we can use this change in momentum is equal to change in pressure, and then taking negative of it, or we can use this also. Okay, so this is your momentum equation. Now energy equation is H1 plus V1 square by 2 is equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2, and V is your U square plus W square, and W1 is equal to